Imagine scooping human poop with your bare hands and earning more than a blacksmith. In a time when most people earned barely a few coins a week, some jobs, though vile, dangerous, and revolting, paid small fortunes. No degree, no training, just show up at 9 p.m., shovel human waste till 5 a.m., and walk away with what equals $200 a night. One man even drowned in a cesspit. Another walked inside a giant wooden hamster wheel 400 feet above ground just to lift stone blocks. Welcome to Histoveins. Today, we reveal the highest-paying jobs in the medieval world and why most people would rather die than do them. 1. The gong farmer, poop collector. You heard it right, gong meant human waste. These night workers were hired to empty cesspits, public toilets, and ditches, using buckets, ropes, and bare hands. Toxic gas pockets sometimes exploded in their faces, causing burns, suffocation, or unconscious collapse. And if you slipped while inside the pit, you'd be swallowed by human filth. One man, Richard the Raker, died drowning in his own cesspool. But the reward? 6 pence per night. A week's wage in just one disgusting shift. Modern equivalent, $200 to $300 per night with zero education required. They were rich in coin, but reeked of death and decay. 2. The executioner, death's employee. This wasn't just a man with a blade. This was a professional killer licensed by the state. Executioners handled beheadings, burnings, hangings, mutilations, even wheel torture. Some were even paid extra if they made the death quick and painless, which almost never happened. Their income was per kill plus side hustles, taxing lepers or cleaning up battlefields. They often traveled town to town like dark celebrities, carrying tools of death. And while most feared them, nobles paid well to keep their justice efficient. Estimated modern value: $500 to $1,000 per execution, sometimes more with bonuses. But no matter how much they earned, they were buried far from everyone else. 3. The leech collector, the bleeding side hustle. In a world that believed blood caused illness, leeches were worth gold. Leech collectors slashed their own legs open, stood in cold swamp water, and waited for the parasites to latch on. Each jar of fat, blood-drunk leeches could be sold to doctors who treated kings and knights. But many collectors passed out from blood loss, some never woke up. The wounds bled for hours, and the muddy water caused deadly infections and parasites. Still, they earned more in a day than most servants made in a week. Modern equivalent: $150 to $250 per day, depending on how much blood you gave. To stay alive, they had to let nature feed on them, literally. 4. Cathedral treadmill walker human crane, 5'11 to 6'35. Before cranes, human-powered hamster wheels lifted Europe's grandest cathedrals. Inside them, one man walked endlessly, high above the earth, lifting stones heavier than a horse. There were no harnesses, no helmets, just wood, sweat, and gravity. If they tripped, they were flung out, or crushed inside the spinning wheel itself. These men powered construction miracles with their legs, and risked their lives for every block. Cathedrals could take centuries to finish, so treadmill walkers had steady pay and dangerous fame. Today's comparison? Around $250 to $300 per day, considered elite labor. They built beauty while dancing with death. 5. The tanner, leather's dark maker, 636 to 8 oolong. If medieval life had a smell, it was the tanner's yard. Tanners made leather by soaking hides in fermented urine, feces, and rotting flesh for weeks. The process involved scraping, rotting, washing, and baking in sun, all by hand. Their homes and skin absorbed the stench for life. They were called the cursed workers. No one wanted to live near them, but everyone wanted their products: armor, shoes, belts, flasks. The best tanners even got government contracts to supply soldiers or royalty. Estimated value: $40,000 to $50,000 a year today. enough to own land in some towns. They were essential to society, but forever isolated. 6. Plague Barrier. The Gravedigger of Death, 801 to 935. When the Black Death hit, half of Europe died, and someone had to bury them. Plague barriers dragged carts through alleys, collecting bloated, rotting corpses that sometimes burst mid-lift. They often buried family, neighbors, or children, but there was no time for grief. Mass graves were dug, lime poured on top, and corpses tossed like trash. Some barriers never removed their rags or gloves for days. They slept among the dead. And still, this horrifying job paid more than any farm or field ever could. Today's comparison: around $250 to $300 per night, often with food and wine added. Most died young, but the few who survived lived comfortably haunted. These weren't just jobs, they were grim negotiations with death. For those willing to bleed, suffer, or stink for gold, medieval life offered brutal rewards. Today we chase paychecks and promotions. Back then you just hoped the job wouldn't kill you. You've been watching Histoveins, where we uncover the filth, fear, and fortune buried beneath history. Hit subscribe, and next time we'll reveal the easiest, most luxurious medieval jobs, where men got rich doing absolutely nothing. Until then, maybe thank your boss, unless your job involves leeches and poop.